Hey gang, Zippo. My wonderful Kennedy toolbox. I've moved it over by the lathe and have equipped it with the machining tools that used to reside in it but got moved around. Now are residing back in the box so I can have them close to the lathe now. I just wanted to go through it real quick and then also show you guys my aforementioned 50-cent purchase. So let's get into the top. What do we got? Well, up on the lid, see if we can pan this up just a little. You can see that I found a home for the Fisher body by Fisher carriage. Then most machinists will know exactly what these are. We used to have leaderboards above our grinders and above our mills and lathes and whatnot on board ship, and we would get our orders that come down, what we needed to machine or make, and we'd take that piece of paper and stick it. So these are plentiful. These are all over everywhere. So that's what those are. And I'm still kind of old school. I may go with the dry erase board that I see a lot of people using now. It'd be a lot easier, but I like to keep my notes after I've machined something. In fact, I've got all of my notes dating back probably to '88 on just about anything that I've done, even when it came to quality control and things of that respect. Just everything has been noted, taken notes, made in duplicates, turned into the appropriates, and copies kept for myself, so on and so forth. But anyway, that's what those are for. And more than likely, when I draw something up, it's typically just on a little piece of paper, little notepad, something like that, just a quick sketch. And that way I've always got a record of everything that I've done, and I kind of keep a mental bank of things that I've done so that I can go back and refer to them. In fact, I made a wind chime for my mom. It was over 6.5 feet tall, and my string routing for hanging the chimes off of the 6-sided headpiece had to be a certain way in order for me to be able to level everything out as I was going. And it took me forever to get it figured out. Well, once I got it figured out, by golly, I made a diagram. That way I've got it. In fact, it is still hanging over on my big gray cabinet above the big vise bench, and that's been 11 years ago, and I've had to restring it a number of times. As a matter of fact, the head to it it's needing restrung again, so all the parts are sitting in here to be restrung again. But yeah, because the fishing line, even though I use high strength fishing line, it wears out over time, and it's going to. So but anyway, just a little bit of me babbling inside this toolbox, inside my Kennedy. I recently got a bunch of high-speed steel bits. I believe I mentioned that. I don't know if I did or not on my quick little video, but I got some high-speed steel bits. Paid for 10, got 12. That was great. A couple of little bonuses in there. I already showed you guys. I got my notepads here. Here's a little throwback. We used to do red and lead in a lot of our machining applications. We would just switch colors real quick on pertinent measurements, roughing measurements, just so we had two different colors, so we knew just at an instant, alright, we can rough to this, then we need to finish to that. So using a couple different marker colors will help you do that in the same respect if you're using a marker board. Of course, calculator, dual line display, and besides that, there's another one attached to the side of the, I don't even know if you guys are able, I didn't put it back down. Aren't I brilliant? There we go. Alright. I gotta remember to put it back down when we get down into the drawers down here. Oh, I've had people ask, that says family. So, everybody in the family's got that. anyway, another calculator that just hangs off the side on a couple of little magnets. I oftentimes bring my lunch or something and I'll forget a fork, so I always keep a fork out here. So there's a fork. And car wash towels. These things are just, you know, for $1 you've got, I mean, you can even wash these things and they come out great, and you can reuse them and reuse them. So I always keep these because you can cut them down to size. They're huge. Cut them down to a small size. You know, a lot of times your shop towels are like this, or they're, you know, like napkin size or on a roll or something like that. And you pay quite a bit for these. These, it's $1 for one. They're reusable. You can wash them 2-3 times before you have to get rid of them. And you can cut it down to the size that you need depending on the job. So that's why I've got those hanging around. Then of course you saw the bigger shop tools. As I was going through the lathe and tuning things up and whatnot, there's quite a bit of fallout. Now I don't typically use a lot of paper. Most of the time you're going to see me with a dirty, ugly, greasy, grimy rag. But we're talking about a lathe. I don't want to use this kind of stuff all over that lathe. I'd much rather have a nice clean rag when I'm going through and tuning everything up, shimming everything in. So, and low lint, as well as those blue shop towels that I just showed you, low lint. Even the red cloth shop towels have a good bit of lint in them. So if you're working on some precision stuff, use a lint-free rag, microfiber towel, something to that effect. Alright, what else is in here? These are my bearings that I use on my front axle spindles to make my steering much easier on my tractors. And in this little socket right here, it's not real important, but it's one of my little North American arms, 22 short, and it doesn't stay in here, it just happens to be in here because I was showing it to somebody. Then in this box here is my dial indicator and magnetic base, nothing fancy, it's just a older Federal from Providence, Rhode Island, made in USA. Dial indicator, I believe it's an inch, yep, 1 inch travel. And different mounting brackets. Got a T-slide mount. And my magnetic base. So I talked about that 50-cent buy that I got, and what are the chances? Let me show you first what I got for $1. Hang on. Picked up this set of Craftsman dividers for $1 from the same vendor at a flea market. I already had a pair of my Starretts, but anytime I see them, I just go ahead and grab them, especially if they're only $1. Why not? You know, you may need to have 3 or 4 different settings, so it's handy to have 3 or 4 different sets of dividers that you can take to do your steps and graduations and whatnot. So, or in a taper, your beginning and ending taper diameters, you'll need a couple. And that way you're not having to break out the micrometers all the time, or having to break out your ball end micrometers, or your calipers, or you know, anything like that. So that's enough of that babble. Hang on, hang your stuff back up. The dividers I go ahead and I leave out on the little work stand that came with the little Craftsman 101 lathe. Oh, about knocked off my camera. That wouldn't have been cool. It's sitting precariously on the headstock and on my catch pan that's laying across my bed on the lathe in order for me to shoot this video. So necessity, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, back to this. That showed you what my dollar purchase was there, and for 50 cents, I picked up this. And this ball is removable. This ball is real nice for if you're doing a real small diameter piece of stock and you've got to keep track. We all know what this is. It's a digital micrometer. This is good for real small stock because you don't have to be dead on centered to 0 as far as, okay, do it this way, be a better visual example. See how small that surface contact point is there? You have to be really, really close on a small diameter piece to get that right where you need it. So a ball end eliminates how precisely you have to place the pin. You have to place that pin very precisely. The ball just needs to be resting on the work. And your measurement is going to be your measurement as long as you're close to center on the ball. Some people are going to argue that, saying, no, you can be, yeah, you can be a tiny bit out. But when you're a hobby machinist, a tiny bit, if you're talking, a fraction of a thousandth, a tenth of a thousandth, hey, well, what? Anyway, back to this. It is and I always pronounce it wrong, Mitoyo, 1/2 inch to 1/1000th. And when I got it, the price tag was across it, and I asked the guys, I said, hey, I just want to see if there's a battery in there, and if there is, I want to see if it has leaked into the mechanism. They said, oh no, sure, yeah, go right ahead. So pop that off. Battery was good and clean, no acid leak, and it was 50 cents. Now you go price that new. It's a $200+ meter. It's a Mitoyo Absolute, and like I say, it's from 0 to 1/2 inch, and we'll zero it. As you can see, it works, and I have gauged it, and it works just fine. It's in great shape, and it also converts from standard SAE to millimeters. So that was my awesome 50-cent purchase this week. That was on Monday. But that takes care of what's in the top drawer here. Get those apart so they're not smacking one another. Let's get the lid back on. Put my fork back on my napkin and drop the door. And now we got to pan down. See, I remembered to pan down, guys. Yay me. Be proud. Yeah, and I have a really fancy lighting fixture going on here too. It's actually a floor model articulating magnifying lamp that I've got also sitting precariously on the workbench. It's about ready to tip over, so I got to watch what I'm doing here. Top left drawer, we have Starrett drift punches, varying sizes. Over here, a Starrett center punch. It's a spring-loaded center punch, and you can get different tips that are available for it. Here we have I've used these for making gaskets and punching the correct size hole in the gaskets. It's just a hollow punch set from Pittsburgh. Nothing fancy, but when you're just cutting gasket material, they're awesome because you get your holes exactly the right size and you get them right where you want them. One of these days I may show you guys a trick on how to make a gasket freehand, freeform without using anything like this. It's kind of neat how you do it. It involves the ball peen hammer. But this is just a piece of carbide that I got from the same guy that gave me the carriage, the Body by Fisher carriage, just a piece of carbide. And I don't know why I grabbed it, but maybe one of these days I will have a use for it. There's a piece of carbide. And Starrett center punches, the hammer type, and my skull key, and it's a secret what that goes to. Let's come over here, top drawer, all my scales, measuring devices, 2 and 3 inch squares that I just recently got, my Starrett protractor, just my different scales, and this scale is a 2-foot Stanley. It's just really neat. It came in a pawn shop toolbox that I got. It's just really nice. I like it. I like old stuff like that. But anyway, it just stays in there, and it always has. This scale right here, believe it or not, woodworking can be nearly as critical in how precise you are as metalworking. And this is a Incro Rules 18 or 16ths and 32nds ruler, and you can see those are perforations, and there's perforations at the top in each individual mark. If I turn it over, all you see is nothing but holes. See all the holes? Well, this would still come in real handy if I'm doing work that's not doesn't have to be super precise. I can use this with metalworking also. So it's a really nice ruler, and just for 6 inches of steel done to this degree of accuracy was kind of spendy, but it was worth it, and I've used it, I'd say, more for metalworking than I have for woodworking. So just a really cool ruler to have. And it's spring steel, so I don't have to be super careful with it, but I'm always careful with my rulers and whatnot as to keep from doing any kind of permanent bendy damage to them. So there's that. This is a pinpoint greaser. It's got a little grease zerk on one end and then a hypodermic on the other for you to pinpoint grease into different places, and it's just always sat in this box, so it's still in there. And used to be, you'd go to some old, and this is going to be a longer video, so this is going to take some of you more patient guys to sit through, and I'm okay with that as long as you're okay with that. Used to, you'd go fill up with gas and you'd get full service gas, and by full service I mean they come out, 6 or 7 guys would come out, check the air pressure in your tires, wash your front wind to back wind, to clean your wiper blades, change your wiper blades if you needed them changed, check your radiator fluids, check your oil, check your transmission, top all your fluids off, check your brake master cylinder fluid, and put gas in your car. Well, you used to get gimmies, you know, say for 4 gallons of gas, you know, we'll give you one of these. Well, this is just one of those gimmies. I've got a Kendall motor oil one over on my looky-loo wall, but this one has never been opened. It's just an all-purpose oil for household appliances, tools, machinery, garden and sporting equipment, etc. Chevron USA. And obviously there is not going to be a barcode on this, and there's not going to be a foreign language on this, because this is back when America was America and not Mexifornia and where, you know, dual language country. Not knocking that we're a dual language country. This is the melting pot, but really, you know, we cater too much. But anyway, getting off on a rant. There's that. And I have a standard 25 thousandths shim that I use for a couple of different things with engines and whatnot. That's sitting back there. Spark plug gaps. Yeah, feeler gauges. These are metric feeler gauges, standard feeler gauges, small-ended standard feeler gauges. These are jewelers. It's a jeweler's drill index with itty bitty drill bits. That's all that's in that drawer. Whoops, sorry. And my pitch gauge for grinding my high-speed steel bits for when I'm cutting threads on the lathe. And a cute little 1/4 inch piece of tooled steel. I don't know where it came from, it just kind of materialized, but that's kind of cool. Alright, next drawer down, taps and easy outs, mainly just taps, and also my splinter getter. The splinter getter is very handy. And then also thread pitch gauge. This is almost a must-have for any shop at all, any kind of a mechanic related shop. Just neat to have. Really handy to have that thread gauge, bleh, pitch gauge, screw pitch gauge. Lordy, talk. Small tap handle, big tap handle, various taps. These are all metrics over here. These are all standards. These two sitting up here by themselves, or for Briggs carburetors. Got my larger taps in the back. I do have other larger taps. And then also, this is a little electrician's cheating tool. And this is just this has got graduations of threads for just cleaning and clearing threads on various things. Light socket screws, plug screws, conduit lockdown screws. Yeah, they all have a different thread, and this one varies. It's got them all written on there, so I'm not even going to sit there and read them all, but you can see it's GB Electrical, so that's what that is. And I just keep the handle loose and then tighten the screw down when I need to use it. but it has come in real handy for a number of different things, so that's why that's in there. Alright, let's get moving. Next drawer. Oh, and these are just a couple of thread chasing screws that I've made that have come in handy over the years for a variety of just cleaning threads out that I've gotten a lot of paint in or something to that effect. I use that to clear the paint or clear the dirt, grease, debris, what have you. So that's that. Next drawer down is just a miscellaneous kind of drawer. I got a deburring tool in here, electrical conduit deburring tool, a couple of glass cutters, a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. Yeah, you know what that is. Just an extension, but capable of using in a screw gun and to put sockets on. And I've got standard sockets here, deep well sockets here, and these are live centers. These are kind of neat. It's got your 5/16 18 is the thread pitch. You just take this cap off and dump one of them little suckers out, and it's got a little hex head on it, and the end of each one of these tools has a little socket on it, and you just run that in. As you run that in, then you can run your center. It's got a little center pin on there. I don't know how well you can see that, but I've actually only used it one time, but the set came at a real good price. So they're made by Hyman Manufacturing, Urbana, Ohio. Hope I'm saying that right for those of you that live there. But anyway, variety of sizes, 5 different sizes there. Okay, socket wrench, just general BS there. Next drawer down, got my machinist squares, protractor, center, right angle, 45, compass, leads for the compass, and my beloved Starrett dial calipers. I've had these for ages and ages and ages. But this little 6-inch Starrett vernier calipers, model number 120. We'll get in. That was a less than exciting drawer there, huh? Alright, now the next drawer is not real exciting either. Just got my inside diameter measuring tools. I use these primarily for measuring in the my small engines. This is I picked this up for Song and Dance, I think $13 or something like that. It's a nice generic digital, I believe it even has a spare battery that comes with it that hasn't been used yet, but it's got standard or millimeters and standard. And so if you open it up to a certain distance, lock it down, you need to know what the metric equivalent is. You can just hit the button and it'll go right to it. So it's kind of nice. You can zero it at any point along the scale for inside measurement, outside measurement, and depth. That's something about calipers a lot of people don't know, is that as you open calipers, there's a pin that comes out the bottom. Well, you can use this to measure as well, and this is just, the pin is just as accurate from here to here as you are from here to here on your inside and here to here on your outsides. It sounds like I said that backwards. This is your inside measuring, this is your outside measuring. My fingers are inside the outside measuring and outside the inside measuring. That may be why it sounded a little odd. And then, of course, you use this for measuring depth. And of course I don't have anything sticking right out that I can measure depth on, but surely, well, yeah, I guess we can just use these. Like for an example, just close this box up. Say you need to know how tall that box is, and you've got your piece of granite but you don't have a fancy fixture to get an accurate height reading. Well, you can set this on your granite just like that. Let's tilt this up just a little. Set this on your granite, and then you can take your calipers and run your calipers down and run them until they touch the top of your work, and that'll give you your measurement there. So essentially 0.60 inches. And then, like I said, you can convert it over to millimeters. Or even fractions of an inch this one has too. So 19/32, 15.1718 millimeters, or 0.5975 inches. So that's pretty cool. And of course none of that was in the picture, I don't think. Let's do it again. 0.5975 inches, 19/32, and 15.18 millimeters. So as you can see, this is a pretty versatile tool, and it is accurate enough. Definitely accurate enough. It does have automatic shut off, but I always make sure I shut it off. You can see it's a General Ultratech. So General tool, obviously. We're talking Harbor Freight. But I got these at a liquidation store and paid, like I say, I think about 13 bucks for them. So there you have that. And we'll get down to the machinist clamp and another neat little vise that I've got that I've had for a little while. This is just a honing stone, 120 grit honing stone for after I grind my high steel bits from my lathe. I can then come in and touch them up, and they last a lot longer if you've honed them real well on a stone afterwards and kind of refine the edge. But yeah, little vise, cute little bugger, isn't it? And this is great for holding on to your tools when you're grinding. It has at one point it had rough jaws. Now it pretty much has smooth jaws. But I've used it a couple times. It's just kind of neat to have around. Just a neat little vise. And then the machinist vise, yeah, I just showed you guys, or machinist clamp that you guys just saw, and that's a Brown and Sharp. But anyway, that rounds out the toolbox, and a little bit of jibber jabber, a little bit of rant, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But that's just how's it rolled, my easy outs. Oops. Yeah, sorry about that. I did it again. I'm not going to start the video over. You guys are just going to have to imagine seeing everything that I just told you was in the video. Okay? Like, I'm sure you saw that. And I'm sure you saw that. And there's my easy outs. And there's my inside measuring, telescoping measuring tools. And my digital calipers. But I do like my dial indicators, or dial calipers, better, just because I'm kind of old school that way. But nothing wrong with the digital age, nothing wrong with it at all. Then we do have one more drawer, and that'd be this one here. We'll shut, and here are the micrometers, ranging in 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4. And I think they're all Starrett, but 2 are Lefkins. I think 2 are Lefkins. Let me see. Yeah. This is the Lefkin. This is the Lefkin. But, and I'm going to make guide blocks for them using the lathe, because I don't have guide blocks for these. Oops, I hit the lathe and shook things around. But because I don't have guide blocks for them. Gauge blocks, so you can make sure that you're set right and so you can zero things in. And then there's just a right angle ratcheting screwdriver and some bits down here that sit nice and neat out of the way. So that's what's in Zippo's machinist box. I'm sure there'll be some additions, omissions, and upgrades and changes and whatnot as I progress into getting this area set up. And I'm also going to bring my bench grinder, one of my bench grinders over here to have over here for sharpening bits, and just a couple of other little things. Not going to try to monopolize all of this counter space, because I'll need some space to set work down and to gauge and block and whatnot. So, but there you have it. There is Zippo's toolbox extraordinaire. But that's what's going on in the machinist box. And that's it. I'm tired. I've done enough videos for today. I'll catch y'all later. Zippo. Later. You know the rest.